Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Here I'm Erga with you today at the Kabbalah Explained Simply session. And today we're going to speak and talk about the Kabbalah, the power of Kabbalah, the method, the wisdom itself. We have started talking about this last time, and today we're going to continue. As usual, we are going to spend about an hour or so with you, and your questions are most welcome. Any kind of question you may have in your mind, even out of the topic, also welcome. And I would like to encourage you to also, take any, comfortable seat next, take a cup of coffee or water with you, and just enjoy the session. What I'm going to go through and show you certain materials, the slides, and also I'm going to talk a bit some additional events we're expecting ahead of us in September. But let's start. So we have spoken last time about the one upper force, sublime force, that actually governed the whole world, the humanity, the life, and the impact of that unique force upon us, why we have certain issues and questions, like what is the meaning of life, why we're suffering, what the root and causes of all actions we have in our world, and what is more important, that how we're going to get an answer to those questions and problems we have in our lives. And one of the important topics that we have to touch upon, how actually and practically we're going to develop ourselves, and how we're going to practice the spiritual wisdom of Kabbalah, given by greatest Kabbalists over the centuries to us, to the so-called last generation. Last generation, not in the terms, and not in a way that we are the one to live last on the planet, God forbid, but the last in terms of the way we have developed so far in a egoistic manner, meaning that we were in searching for the anything in our life, living answers, signs, whatever not, whatever you mention, whatever you have in your mind, only for our own good, for our own benefits only. And obviously, over the time, we also made attempts, we as a humanity, and each and every one of us, over the lives that we have lived through, so many reincarnated lives, and we've been looking for the answers, whether knowingly or unknowingly, subconsciously. We've been looking for the answer, how we're going to reach out that sublime force, the creator, the root of our lives. And the problem with that is not just simply know that there is some superior force living somewhere or maybe next to us or within us. I guess everybody knows these days that we have something unique force around us that created us. The problem, though, is that how we're going to get in touch with such sublime force. And the obvious question, maybe you come and sit and find a method like going out on the forests and the mountains, come down yourself, start meditating, and then probably you touch some force, upper force, presumably, that is going to help you out, resolve all the inner and outer problems. Or you may pray, right, to whoever you're praying to and ask for anything you want to. And the problem is that we've been doing so far over the years, and only few people have reached out and received the answers to their questions, concerns, and problems. But majority of us, like us, right, living now, we still have not received it yet. So what is the reason? Is it something we have been doing wrong? Like, we are not being properly meditating, or maybe we've been raising the wrong prayers to the Creator, whatever not, didn't work. If we have been reincarnating on this planet so many times over the years, or centuries, or even 1,000 years. So what happened? And Wisdom of Kabbalah gives us a very simple answer. Before you're reaching out to the Creator, you have to connect with the people of a kind of same kind of people, meaning you have certain qualities, certain goals, thoughts, desires in common. What I mean is you may have the same question, what's the meaning of life? Like we are now in the session, we're watching this video. You may have other people looking for the same answers to the same, to answer the same question, and also looking for the answers to these questions, right? And when we come together and start studying together, we actually create a group of people who are searching for the answers and to get the answers to the questions, to our questions, that may actually give us or open up the gate to the Creator. Why that? Again, the problem is with our nature. We are born with a nature of will to receive that seeks for the pleasure. And there is nothing wrong at all with that, because we would like to live in comfortable life. We would like to get most of the life, and nothing wrong with it at all. Right? We would like to have a nice food. We would like to be healthy. We would like to have friendly, lovely families. We would like to have a good career, business. We would like to have enough money to live proper good life. We would like to have a knowledge, right, to know how to live good life. We would like to be respected. So anything is good that makes good for us, we enjoy from it. And this is what really Creator also wants from us, to enjoy it. Even if we talk about the spiritual life, He also would like us to be happy the way we develop. The trick is, if it is the case, why we're not reaching the goal, why we're still having problems, why we're still having certain gaps. Even we set up a good plan ahead of us, we have coaches, we have teachers, we have everything in our hands, books, knowledge, and yet we miss something out. Or even if you've reached something out, then being on top for some period of time, we feel that it's actually not enough to satisfy our needs. And I give you an example. You've all been in earlier years, being young people, we've been looking for the good jobs, good money. And once you earn quite good chunk of money, after a certain period of time, you feel it's not enough, you want something more. And then you start develop your career, or you develop your business even further to make sure you earn more and more. And that is a trick that our will to receive is playing with us. Rather than just simply be satisfied with what we have, the will to receive having examples around us in society, searching for the something in the bigger quantities, whether being a health, being a strength, knowledge, money. We want to multiply and multiply. Why? Why is it so important to us? It is very simple reason. This is the way the will to receive works within ourselves. The very simple mechanism, no matter what sophisticated goal is in our life, still yet the very basic principle how we're going to attain it, we would like to apply minimum efforts and get the maximum results. Like in any business, you would like to get the maximum profits with the less expense, right? And nothing wrong with it at all, with the one exception. At some point of time, you see that it doesn't work out. You see so many people in history who actually made the goal. The question mark is whether they're still happy with what they have achieved. And if you're honest with yourself, obviously the answer would be probably no. You're still missing out something. And that is missing point is exactly somewhere deep down, we know that we're looking for something else. We're looking for him, for the creator, unconditional love and bestowal force. We would like to get back to our roots where we have been created. And this is why we need group, we need friends who have the same goal, same desire to attain the creator. And this is why you will no longer playing a trick with yourself. You will focus on the same goal, helping each other, increasing the desire to the extent that it will be sufficient to attain the creator. And that's the only way you can attain it. Otherwise, your force that you have born with it, with this question, with this point in the heart, is not enough. You will have to have a friend around you or friends around you to help each other to attain this goal. And obviously, with this quick and short session, I won't be explaining why it is. There are so many reasons. One of them, for example, once you try to overcome your nature will to receive, you'd like to get in touch with the creator, obviously you will get a resistance against it for the very good reason, because this will to receive has been also created by the creator. You need it. You need for the purpose of getting more pleasure, but not corporeal pleasure only, but also spiritual pleasures, which are enormous. They're almost endless. This is what Kabbalists say to us. And that's why we need us to reach this goal. Needless to say that there are times when you may think that you have reached out the creator, you felt something, and you have an experience, and who can argue with that? But later something happens, and then it disappears, this experience, this feeling. You ask why? Again, for very good reason. Your will to receive is growing every time. Every day it grows and grows bigger and bigger. We just didn't notice straight away. It takes some time to get noticed. But again, because the creator is playing trick with you, you need, again, the friends around you who will help you out to notice it on a daily basis. And the way you train yourself also with others, you need friends to understand whether you're in the right, true path to reach the creator. You're not lying to yourself. You're not lying to anybody else. And this is, you could easily test yourself being in a group, in this so-called laboratory, where you can train yourself. The next one, which was highly discussed and unfortunately wrongly perceived these days specifically, you heard probably many times about the Israel, these terms, and we mixed with the nation who lives on certain territory. There is an even country named Israel, and there are so talks about it, news and no, whatever, not to mention whatever. And the problem with this term is that it's not just a nation as such, although you already see it and you hear and you know, at least you read somewhere about it. But actually, it is a spiritual term that shows there is certain desire, certain point in the heart, which is named Israel, and this certain point in the heart lives in every single person on this planet. It's only the degree whether it lives deep down in your heart or it's already awakened and looking for the answer. And Israel in Hebrew, Yashar El, means directed to the Creator, meaning that this term, actually this question that bothers you, that earns that you attain the Creator, called Israel. And all other qualities within yourself or desires that are not earning, not looking for the Creator, they're like anything else. But still you need them because they're a vessel to receive a pleasure. Not only corporeal one, but also spiritual ones. But to get this pleasure, endless pleasure, unlimited pleasure, you need this quality of Israel within yourself, which needs to be developed. You have it, yes, you do, but the problem is you need to develop it. You need to develop to the extent that it becomes an intention, a masach or screen. This is what Kabbalists call it. So the pleasure will be endless. And you will start attaining the Creator. You will get in touch with the Creator. You need to develop this instrument, which is called masach, the screen. And yes, it is possible to obtain it when you study Kabbalah, because Kabbalists explain how you can create it. You actually, what happens, you develop yourself. This is only you that develop new person, new man within yourself that will have a quality of the Creator, or what they call it. Creator is not a person as such, or whatever, God forbid you imagine yourself, but it's a quality of unconditional love and bestowal. This is what we call Creator, because this quality actually created the will to receive, where we're going to receive the pleasure. And this is what we're going to study as well, because there are certain even books of maybe 2,000 pages long named Talmud as Throat, for example, about the desires that can be developed in a way that you don't only enjoy this world, but also enjoy spiritual world. You enjoy the Creator, because He is the one who actually gives you the most. He makes you a perfect creation. And unfortunately, any words are poor and unable to explain what Creator is, or who is this quality of a Creator. It only comes with the perception, with your experience. Once you start attaining the Creator, this is the point where you actually will understand. You're gonna feel it, what Creator is and who is the Creator. What is this force actually that gives you life, gives you birth, and you being. let's move on. What is very important to know that since we talk about the screen, the masach, the intention, right, a new sensation to attain the creator, you can obtain it through your inner work. You don't have to do anything externally. Well, obviously you do. You study, you take the books, you read them, you connect with other friends, right? But you do not have to do something externally hoping that something is going to change, but actually the main focus will be to make your internal transformation. Any external thing like studying, reading, or having a meal with your friends, or doing something else to connect with other friends, they're just to help you out, to draw the light which is going to make this internal transformation, meaning that you're going to obtain this masach, the new intention, that is going to fulfill all your desires, and you will feel endless happiness within yourself. Not only within yourself, because it actually, if you think this way, it will actually talks about your your own desires, your own vessels. The beauty of Kabbalah is not only your vessels being corrected, being built up a masah, but also when you connect with other friends, you connect with their desires. And then once you do it with a masah, with a screen, you become a conduit, a pipeline for the light that pass through you. And when the light goes through you, obviously you will feel this pleasure, but seemingly you also have conveying this pleasure and light to your friends around you. And once you do it mutually, you're going to build up very strong vessel, spiritual vessels, which are going to help you out to reveal and attain the creator. Again, when you attain the creator, we attain in our vessels, right? There is no way you're gonna attain it somehow differently. And even if we see the world outside of us, it's not outside of it per se. And I'm sure you already, if you know from other sciences, from biology or physiology, the way the brain works, you see the world at the back of your brain that builds a picture of the world. It is as if you similarly you see them outside, but they're inside of you. And I'm sure if you made a test, a medical test on your eyes, whether you have a good vision or not, there is a machine. You place your head in a machine, and then it looks, it scans your eyes, and then the doctor will tell you press certain buttons if you see red or green lights. And sometimes you see and you press the right button, sometimes you don't see them. And then you will be given a printout, and doctor will say, actually, your eyes, they see something outside, but something they do not see. They have certain spots here and there. And you're puzzled because how come you don't see these spots or something broken in the vision, right? You see the whole world before you. It is perfect, it's fine. You see sun shines brightly, you see people around you, you speak with them, you touch. But the problem is the part that doesn't see of your eyes, the brain, they reconstruct the missing part. So you see the world not in spots around you, but also you see the bright picture because of your brain that actually makes this picture of the world. It sounds like a nonsense, but actually, if you speak with the, with the doctors and who actually get it well enough in this, you will explain how it works. And same with other feelings. The brain actually builds a picture of the world around you. And same principle works in the spiritual life. Once you build this instrument, the masach, the screen, you will be resembling with the attributes of the creator. Like in radio, when you catch the radio waves, you're going to hear or catch the wave where you can hear the song or information, news, whatever. Same thing. Once you develop certain attributes that resembles with the creator's qualities, you're gonna attain the creator. And this is possible when you do this internal transformation with certain practices that Kabbalists use, but these are primarily, really, literally, when you study Kabbalah and when you interact with your friends through the workshops, discussions, studying together, sometimes having meal together, maybe singing a song, doing something, acts of bestowal to each other, helping each other to attain the creator. And the main thing here, because it's a very important point I would like to touch upon, it's not about just doing good things to each other, because we have seen so many cases in the history, people doing good to each other, even helping financially and whatever not. And we see good examples, for example, in African countries. So many countries help them out financially and resourcing and whatever not, and knowledge, and yet why some countries still poor, why some countries still rich? Because simply giving something for free wouldn't help. You will simply spoil people. And we know it by children, right? Whoever have children, if you give something for free, you're going to spoil your children. That's why they have to study. That's why they have to do something, homeworks, exercises, so they know they obtain the values, whatever asset they would like to, through the effort, through the work, through the study. And this is the only way you can grow up, right? Understand, you're going to feel, you can experience this and that. This is the way you actually grow up. And that is another very good point in Kabbalah. You will never, ever have a teacher in Kabbalah, if you're talking about the authentic Kabbalah, the true Kabbalists, they will never say that you have to respect me, you have to do something good for me, or I am the one you have to, trust me, whatever. As if they're trying, to attach you to her or himself. No way. The true teacher in Kabbalah would even do sometimes other way around. He will probably push you from himself. I know it sounds like, wow, how come? You're talking about having good relationship with each other, helping each other. But the dangerous point here, once you see good people around you, you're inclined to attach to them because they're helping out and you're helping out. You feel something good in between. The problem with that attitude, if you continue like that, you will be like a kid, like a child who is not developed enough. You need to develop to the extent you will become independent adult, grown-up adult. And for this very good reason, although you have friends around you, although you have teachers and books, you are going to make sure you reach out and make a contact with the creator directly or through the friends. Usually through the friends, right? Because this is the way you attain the creator. because you're going to make sure that you have the same qualities like a creator. And therefore, the right teacher, he will always direct you to the creator, saying you need to ask from him the force, the knowledge, anything. Later on, once you obtain a quarter of a bestowal, a bit, masach, right, which I mentioned in the beginning, then that particular quality within yourself will start teaching you as well, guiding you in the right direction. And therefore you have to go through this transformation. Similar, like, in our educational system, right, when we're kids, yes, we're dependent on our parents, and later in the school we depend on our teachers, right? But later, when we're grown up, when we become an adult, become student of the universities, to the contrary, everybody would expect you to be independent, self-thinking, having critical thinking skills, right, capabilities, whatever. So you become your own expert, and further even set up your own business or become whoever owner. So you then develop others. So they expect you over the time to develop, so you become independent, similar, knowledgeable, even if not even better. Especially parents, they wish their children be even better than themselves. And this is the right way to develop. Same with the Kabbalists. They would like you to develop even better than themselves. They like being good parents. They would like to grow up. They would like to be even better. Right? This is the difference between Kabbalah, the wisdom Kabbalah, and the other methods. It's a very important one. So if you're looking for the right teacher in Kabbalah, you make sure that he behaves like that. He will always make sure that you grow up. You will become independent, grown up adult in spiritual world. And then later you have your own students, right? Once you become a great Kabbalist, you also will have someone to take care of, and you develop same way. Let's move on. The language of branches and Torah interpretations. The problem with that, many people perceive when they read the books in Kabbalah, and they're trying to imagine or give them a shape or form or something could easily, can grab on it. The problem with that approach is that you may stop your development for very good reason, because what we're talking about the forces, the desire. How are you going to imagine the desire within yourself? How are you going to imagine your soul? It is something, what you've seen so many Hollywood movies, they something, flying out of your body, physical body, and then, it goes somewhere or flies somewhere. No way. This is the danger of trying to imagine, give a shape, or materialize it. This is the very wrong way of doing it. Because the truth is, it doesn't have certain form. It is kind of an energy, like electricity. Yeah, we know it goes through the wires, right? It goes somewhere, and then when it reaches certain equipment, either being iron or refrigerator or TV set, it will have different output, right? Whether showing, seeing a movie or fridging the products, milk in the fridge or heating oven, the same energy but produces different things. Same with our desires, the forces, right? We cannot even imagine. Remember, back then, last century, people imagined that you have a soul living in the heart, right? And how many hearts being, changed, operations been made. So no one can believe now that, something could live in the physical bodies, right? These days especially, it. Same here. We're talking about the forces, the feelings that don't have specific shape. Now, this body, it's a body, it's physical body. And if you would like to be a good Kabbalist, you will, at some point of time, stop associating yourself with the physical body, but rather you're going to associate yourself with the will, with the soul, with the will to bestow. But again, you need to be careful that you're not using where you imagine or picture yourself to yourself certain, I don't know how to express it. You got my point that you don't have to, and you will not make a picture out of it. This is the way you're going to attain, you develop, for very good reasons, that there are certain degrees of attainment. And Kabbalists say that we have about 125 degrees, letters, steps in the letters. And every time you're going to develop even higher and further. It's like being in school. We have been taught with a very simple mathematical equations, 1 + 1 = 2. But later you will develop and understand it's a very simple one. Then you have something different one in universities, right? You have different formulas. It is more entertaining and it's more sophisticated than in the beginning. Same in the Kabbalah. You're going to develop, in the beginning you develop some simple thing until you develop, yourself in a way that you see a sophisticated world with so many elements in there. You're going to feel it, you're going to taste it, and be self-confident and assured and influence the world. Because the main idea is to take control of your life, not simply relying on some accidents or occasions that you don't even know where they're coming from. And Creator would be even happy that you take control of your life. Same with the humanity. He would rather you be developed. Like if you are a good parent, if father, mother, if you would like, and you see your child being, grown up, smart, strong, won't you be happy to see him, developing in this way? Surely, yeah, right? You would like him be, independent, strong, smart, and even better than you, right? You would be happy to see. Same with the Creator. He is the one who created us, and he would like us to develop, being a partner, at least a partner to the Creator. And he wants us to develop higher and higher. And let's move on to the next slide. There are so many things, and we talked about the reincarnation, and people confuse, souls. They make, as I mentioned before, movies, right, about how souls reincarnate, as if it takes the same shape or faces or characters. The problem is that we always develop over the time, and yes, we do inherit certain qualities from our predecessors, from parents, grandfathers, grandmothers. But one point never changes, this point in heart, that is trying to be like a creator. He is trying to develop, or she, or whatever, this quality, trying to develop so it can attain the creator in a way that you actually feel it. And you cannot miss the sensation of creator. It definitely, once you attain it, you will see, yeah, that's it. That's him. This is what you're attaining. And you cannot miss with any other sensation at all. It's so different. It's so obvious, at the same time explicit, that you're not going to confuse with anything else. People could imagine, seeing a light in a tunnel or seeing something, whatever. These are psychological things that happening to the people. But attaining the creator, it's totally under your control once you develop yourself. By the way, developing spiritual yourself, your screen, your masach, and your quality of soul, it's really creative process, because you were going to develop yourself. your own soul, you will be like a creator. Like, that's why you're calling that, you once you develop like a creator, you be part of the creator, you have to learn how he actually does it. And you're going to make out of yourself, out of your qualities, a substance, the screen or the soul, whatever you call it, that would be similar with the creator. Not in the substance, because in the creator, it is a quality of bestowal. It's a desire to bestow. We don't have such a desire. We are a desire to receive, but we can build up a screen, an intention, in other words, that will make this desire to receive being like a giver, meaning you receive in order to give, you receive in order to bestow. And that what makes you be like a creator, not a creator, but like a creator. And building this masach, the screen, makes you, building the soul, which reincarnates from one generation to another. But then you ask, Erga, what about myself? But you said to me some time ago that we all have been reincarnating so many times, 1,000 years. Truly so. The problem is with that, it's only the desire will to receive with only spark, with only pointed heart, was reincarnating from time to time, from life to another life, right? Until it searches for the development, until it seeks for the wisdom of Kabbalah to obtain and take it as a tool to develop it. So I hope it's clear, but yeah, please write down your questions and then we'll have a look at it. The next slide, let's move on. Just mindful of the time so we can make it all. One important thing, and you will be surprised, but we made a scientific experiments, if you call it, that all global problems we're experiencing these days, climate, environmental, depressions, whatever you take it, relationship, God forbid, war between nations, they all have a root in the spiritual world. But then you will ask me, Irgan, hang on a minute, you said yourself spiritual something good. How come the bad thing could take place, or they coming from the good thing? For very good reason. It's not exactly this way. It's just the way we perceive it. Because if we are not correcting our qualities, if we are not trying to develop ourselves, the spiritual world, it's kind of a network of the forces that cascades down to our world. And if you're not resembling with these forces, you are actually having problems because of it, because you're not in harmony with these forces, and therefore it manifests itself like a problem. But if you are smart enough, but if you're strong enough to resonate with the qualities of bestowal love at the high level, you won't be able facing any issues or problems in this world of whatever nature you may think of. And coming back to my point, when we made an experiment, we went to the business, to one company, we made certain measurement of the KPIs, key performance indicators, in revenue, net profits, number of sick leaves, production, and whatever not. We made a training with the people that has an element of the Kabbalah science or wisdom of Kabbalah. We brought them, these points, certain rules of communication between them, taking from the Kabbalists' wisdom, and we taught them. In a way, again, it was we've been offering a solution, an option, how they can communicate with each other, how can they build up a relationship in such a way that their qualities, attributes would become seemingly very close to those one which we're talking about the creators level, on top of their natural attributes, the qualities. It's very important to keep them safe as well, because we need these qualities, natural qualities. You don't have to fight with it, but you adding on top a new qualities, so you will resemble these higher forces. So we have done this training, and we made another measure of KPIs at the end of this process after a certain period of time, 3 months. And then everybody was surprised. The revenue increased, net profit increased, more clients, production efficiency, reduced number of sick leaves, and so on and so on. So many good things happened. It just shows us that the all roots of all problems, they are on top, in above us. Well, when we say above, obviously we're not going to the heaven or space. No, when in Kabbalah, when we say above or below, we're talking about the will to receive or will to bestow. In Kabbalah, if you're getting more qualities of a will to bestow, being a loving creature, then it is above. When you have more qualities of a will to receive, then you're below. And therefore, it's very important to use specific terminologies, that you have a language to speak. Remember, we talked before that you need to have this language, so it will be clear to yourself and to your friends and people around you who study Kabbalah, that you use the right definitions or words to define what you do and how you define what you attain. So that's basically, I was trying to tell you today as a second portion of this topic about the power of Kabbalah, about the influence of the forces which we don't feel it yet, but sooner or later we will come to the point that we will have to study them, we have to face them, we have to learn from them, and become like a creator, take control of our lives, not only having will to receive, but also will to bestow in balance. And this is why we're going to develop it. One important point I would like to raise and pay attention on, we do from time to time have a certain gatherings, meetings between all of us who study Kabbalah once in a while. Next one we plan is in September, 5 to 7, 3 days, nearby New York, where we would you will obviously get information later from our people, from assistants, that these events take place, and that we would highly recommend to go there and experience yourself this communication with similar type of people like you, similar like-minded people, and you will have a extraordinary experience talking to the people, and try to test yourself on your nature, on your will to receive, on your feelings. It's not just talking and reading. It's truly 3 days full of so many events. When you mingle with each other, communicate with each other, you study, you do so many things to draw the light, to attract the light, and have a flavor of what spiritual work is. It is so rewarding, it is so intense, that people measure such event as if you've been studying Kabbalah for the whole year. Imagine you invest only 3 days of your life, but the effect equals as if you're studying for the whole year, 365 days. I think it's a worthwhile investment. At least you're going to feel and see if it really fits to you, if it's really what you're looking for. My experience tells me that, when I first time I met my friends, like you, and in a retreats in the Congress, I felt as if I know these people for a long time, and they had the same feeling with me. It's because we're all so connected. We don't just feel it for now, but once you start practicing, you feel this connection with other people, and you start changing, transforming yourself in a good way, that you're going to appreciate the spiritual life on top of the corporate life. You don't have to get rid of anything you have at the moment, right? You still, you have your family, work, business, you have a career, you have, any social status, PhD, whatever you have, all is yours. You don't have to change anything. You're just adding on top this additional part of the life that makes your life complete. And hopefully you'll find an answer. And hopefully you will find a tool and develop yourself a soul completely under your control, completely the way you want it, so unique that only you can do it. Because the number of qualities you have, the combination of qualities within yourself, it's so unique within each of us. So the light that you're going to draw only belongs to you. And if you become pipeline to the whole humanity, then you make a good deed for the rest of humanity as well. And you basically will be helping out other people to develop spiritual as well, making the whole world a better place to live. Like, famous song of Michael Jackson, right? Let's make a better place to live. So yeah, we'll be looking for the questions, and we will give a link to the Zoom, where you can, you're welcome to get in and ask any questions you may have. We'll probably devote an hour or so, depending on your question, number of questions you have. Happy to answer all of it. Meanwhile, I will show you a video clip about the experience, like I mentioned to you in September in retreat, and enjoy it.
It's a very, very simple chorus. Everything comes from above except our love. And everything depends on the love, on it. Here we go. Everything comes from above except our love. And everything depends on it, depends on it, depends on it. Everything comes from above except our love. And everything depends on it, depends on it, depends on it. One is much, one that's little, 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 little. As long as you weigh your heart at the middle, 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 middle. There must be some kind of higher guidance.
Through tonight's exercise, and I wish each of you could just reach in and take out some of this heat or even fire. I'm sure you all have that same kind of feeling.
Everything comes from above, except our love. And everything depends on it, depends on it, depends on it. Everything comes from above, except our love. And everything depends on it, depends on it, depends on it.
Okay, dears. So yeah, probably give you a couple of minutes so you know, take a rest, stretch out yourself, and then take a cup of coffee or tea, make yourself comfortable, and then open up um, the the Zoom. Right, here's a link. You go, you know, to the kabuconnect.com live and click Zoom. Right, and if you're not a Kabu member, after clicking on Zoom, sign up for a free trial and then click Zoom again. And then you'll be able to join the Zoom session where you can openly ask any question you have, either, you know, on the topics which I just discussed or anything of your interest. So you're welcome, and see you soon.